everybody. This is Rick Prokop at Piano Power Lessons. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to spend a little time learning the left hand and just making sure we can read all of these notes. And then we'll spend the bulk of our time putting our hands together, trying to play our hands together, and trying to read the notes of the hands together. So I'd like to start out by just reading all of the left hand notes aloud because the first 8 bars is repeated down here, so it would be a good idea to just go through the whole thing. And I'm going to put the metronome on 80, and you can all follow along with me and say the notes out loud as I'm playing them. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, B, C, B, A, D, G. New phrase. B, C, B, C, B, A, D, B. C, B, C, B, A, D, G. B, C, B, C, B, A, D, G, B. So play that back and make sure you can do that easily before we try to put the hands together. All right, let's look down at the keyboard and I'll show you 2 ways of playing the left hand. All right, the metronome is on, and what we're going to do is just bounce 2 times on each half note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So you're keeping time with your wrist. And we're coming to the end of the second line. 2, 3, 4. Get a nice sound on each note. Play exactly in time. And in our next example, we're going to use physical groups that correspond with the physical groups of the right hand that I presented to you in lesson 1. So the metronome is on, and we're going to begin with an up motion on the C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, 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 down, up, down, up, down, up, up, off, up, down, up, down, up, 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 down, up, down, up, down, up, up, finish. And if you're just starting out with the piano, you might find it difficult to play the thumb and the 5th finger with up motions. For a beginner, generally it's much easier to play those notes with down motions. Okay, so you might want to just practice going up to the D, up to the G, up to the D, up to the G, and put the metronome on, of course, as you're doing that, and then your final, the G and B, going up to those 2 and making sure that they sound at exactly the same time. All right, now we're going to just practice saying the vertically aligned intervals on the first line of the page. So let's just do the first phrase actually. So I'm going to say each interval 3 times really quickly from the bottom to the top, and I want you to just do it with me. Here we go. So we have CA, 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 CA. Now BG, 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 back to CA, 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 and BG, BG, BG. Now we have the interval of an 11th, which is a 4th blown out. So we have AD, 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 and now back to a 6th, DB, 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 and finally we have a 10th, which is a GB, which is the 3rd GB blown apart to a 10th. Let's say that together. GB, GB, GB. All right, now I'm going to put the metronome on and I'm going to say each of these intervals just once, all the way through to here, and then I'll expect you to come back and do it on your own. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. CA, BG, CA, BG, AD, DB, GB. Okay, it's your turn to try it. I'll give you 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're probably going to want to practice just this little section a couple of times. So we have BG, AD, DB, GB. Do it with me. BG, AD, DB, GB. All right, so that pretty much covers us for the whole piece. The only change is down here where you have a BG at the end instead of a GB. And then at the end, you have GBG, GBG, root, third, and the root. All right, I don't want to put you to sleep with this one, but we have to do all of the notes now. Saying all of the notes out loud, reading from the bottom up. All right, so I'm going to start here. The metronome's on much slower now at 66, and I'm going to play it and say the notes from here. 1, 2, G, B, C, A, B, G, B, C, A, B, G, B, A, D, C, D, B, A, G, B, B, G, B, C, A, B, G, B, C, A, B, G, B, A, D, C, D, B, A, GBG. Okay, and now we're ready to look down at the piano and try the hands together. All right, before we start trying to play the actual melody, let's just play these intervals that are aligned on the page. So our first one is CA, which is a 6th, and then we're doing parallel 6ths, going from CA to BG. And then we hit this A to D with our 4th and 5th finger. So just practice going from B to G and up to AD. Do that a couple of times. All right, then from this AD, we come back to the DB 6th and finish on a GB 10th. So we have from this 6th to this 11th, right? And then down to this 6th, and then the 10th. All right, and then adding the notes in between, we have the 6th, come down to the 6th, back up, back down. Now we're going to this 11th, coming down to the DB 6th, and now the 10th. Okay, so that's the first phrase. All right, now we continue on with the second phrase, which begins at the latter half of the last measure of the first line with a B and a G, and they're played together. So we have this sixth going up to the CA sixth, back down to the BG, back up to the CA, back down to the BG, and now the 11th, the AD, and the DB sixth, and we finish on a sixth. Okay, now I'm going to bring you down to the last line, starting on the second half of the second measure and going to the end, where we have BG going up to this 11th, and then the DB sixth, and then GBG. So let's do that again. Start on BG to AD and DB, and then GBG. All right, let's try running through the whole piece nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Bouncing all the time. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And once again, just to refresh your memory, the reason we're doing the down ups is to get a good sound on each note. And to play exactly in time, and to make sure after we play a note that we're comfortable. And we do that by coming up with the wrist and making sure that wrist is always comfortable. See? And you can't get this experience if you're playing fast and you're not really concentrating on this aspect. So in the next part, I'm going to take you through playing the whole thing using physical groups, but I would highly recommend that you just do the bouncing for 3, 4, 5 days until you're totally comfortable with that. Okay? All right, now I'm going to take you slowly through the whole piece using physical groups. 1, 2, down, up, up, down, up, up. Both wrists are doing exactly the same thing. Slowly getting higher. Here's the highest point. Now both drop. Down, up, up, down. Don't get too high here because you still have a ways to go. There's the highest point. Down, up, up, down, up, up, down. Stay low. Gradually get higher. Finish. Drop. Drop. And here we go. Drop a little higher each time and finish. Well, that should do it for today, and I just want to thank you once again for joining me at Piano Power Lessons. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.